And yeah, and this is why this particular combination is very powerful. I am a strong believer that Flarewolf himself can just straight up replace Ignitor, right? Bam. What's up, guys? Oh, here it is, B10 video, and we're just going to jump straight into it today. What we're going to start with is the 3-star, and then I'm going to move into some some mishaps that can kind of happen at times, and then I'm going to move into some alternative teams, and at the end of the video, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a present just to kind of give you guys a push in a semi-auto kind of direction that I can currently do with my main account, as well as I'll mention ways that you can turn these other teams into like semi-auto. All right, so I'll get this video playing for us. As you can see, we have Ignitor, Flarewolf, and Kaboom, right? And this team is the one that I used on my ults to get its 3-star, right? Now, every team that I'm going to show you guys today can potentially get your 3-star. This one was probably, I'll say it's probably the most reliable one. It's also one of the more reliable ones to turn into an auto team, right? Now, when it comes to actually getting your manual, B10, right? The rotation is quite important. Now you'll see in this particular video that I am kind of just throwing skills out willy-nilly, or it seems like that, right? At the very least. But for most of these teams, what we're going to want to do for the most part is we're just going to want to take Kaboom and we want to get his bomb skill out, right? Over and over. If any, like, you summon Gulper, you taunt with Gulper, you keep spamming Kaboom's bomb ability, right? This particular Kaboom actually only has about 6,000 attack, right? So, for my ult to have his kind of like to stay safer on the waves, because the waves were dying so slowly in comparison to, say, if I was to use my 8,000 attack Kaboom on my main account. I kind of was like, all right, I'll use the other skills from Flarewolf and Ignitor as well, just to try and stay safer. You know, I want to get those waves down as quick as possible, right? Now, as you can see, once we get to the boss, right, rotation is very important. You're going to want to make sure you get the defense break up from Ignitor, so that's his skill 2, right? As you can see, we used his skill 1 to follow up. Now we've still got a defense break on the boss, and we're going to hit the boss with Flarewolf's 50% defense ignore skill on top of that defense break. You can see there, we just hit the boss for over 10k's worth of damage. And this is a 4-star Flarewolf, unawakened max level, right? On some pretty nub runes, which you'll get to see at the end of this particular video, right? So there's a 12k hit, right? And yeah, and this is why this particular combination is very powerful. I am a strong believer that Flarewolf himself can just straight up replace Ignitor, right? But for your auto team and stuff, right? So like a lot of people are using Ignitor, they've skilled up Ignitor, but I believe that if you went ahead and made, like, if you fully dedicated yourself to building a Flarewolf, he could easily replace Ignitor for your B10 team, right? He does somewhat comparable damage. So here are the runes here. As you can see, 6,700 attack. I'm just going to pause it quickly. Flarewolf does do comparable damage to Ignitor, except there's no bonus proc, right? So as long as we're not taking into account Ignitor's 40 to 60% chance to get that bonus proc, Flarewolf does about comparable damage. Flarewolf can potentially 3-shot the boss on his own as long as he's using that charge ability. So in terms of a manual team, very good. In terms of an auto team, also very good if obviously paired with units that are going to allow him to get his charge off, right? So let's say Light Jetpack and Flarewolf, for example, right? But in this particular case, Ignitor Flarewolf together, very, very strong combo, because both units can essentially destroy the boss, right? Especially when we're pairing Ignitor's defense break with Flarewolf's defense ignore charge, right? As well as Flarewolf gives himself attack up too, right? So we'll go through these runes quickly. As you can see, I'm I'm still using like the old Wailing 8 runes, right? These are Stink Bombs runes that we were using on our alts for the Wailing 9 video, right? And you see there's Flarewolf there with his 4k attack, his 113 crit rate, and his 239 crit damage. Now those stats seem to be about what you want for your B10 in general, for your like boss killers, Ignitor, Flarewolf, etc. Right? The 4,000 something odd attack with the 110 plus crit rate, and then the like 240-ish crit damage is about what you want to aim for. You can see Ignitor here has 247 crit damage instead, 4,500 attack, and Ignitor is like 6-star awakened plus 5, I think, whereas the Flarewolf is 4-star unawakened, right? So that's the 3-star team. Obviously works fine for manual in general, right? Now, problems that can arise when it comes to like this particular team. Let's see, I think it was this video here. So we failed, but we got it within the 3-star time limit. All right, so if I pop to the end here, we lost Kaboom. There you go. So you can see we're doing quite well. Gulper takes a hit, and then we saw Kaboom just got killed. So Kaboom is probably going to take the next hit in the video here. You can see how hard Ignitor just hit, right? The defense break is still up. Flarewolf, boom. There's another 10k. There's like 11k damage right there. 10k plus damage, I was going to say. And then I believe Ignitor gets the proc here. Yes, so Ignitor got a nice proc. As you can see, we got the kill. However, Kaboom getting hit, we lost it. It was in 254. Sometimes things like that happen, all right? This one here, another good example. Let me just skip to the boss. Whoops, I skipped past the boss. As you can see, everyone is very low on HP right now. Ignitor getting those 10k procs again. However, we didn't do very well on the waves for this particular run. This was, I believe, the very first attempt with this team. And so we actually almost got our 3-star. However, because the Kaboom has such low attack in comparison, so like the 6,700 attack, the waves weren't too well. I was just spamming the bomb, and from then on, I started also using Flarewolf and Ignitor on the waves as well to kind of help speed the wave up, right? You just got to kind of like figure out the rotation that's going to work best for your team and your rune quality, and you'll be fine, right? Now, other teams. A lot of people are using. I'm gonna jump to this team first, right? You can see how it's named Unreliable Manual B10. Now, it's not that the team itself is like super unreliable. It can get you your 3-star. The main problem that I found with this particular team was A, in this video I'm not using the rotation properly, but B, when I actually get to the boss. So let's jump down here. Now this could have actually potentially been a kill, right? Like this particular video, like this run, could have potentially been a kill. Ninjini does actually just kind of glance at the start of the fight, right? So if she hadn't glanced, let's say she hits the boss, she crits, she procs, like this could potentially have been a kill. However, I had situations like this happen quite often where like Ninjini would kind of fall flat for me at the boss itself, and then she's just got this really long cooldown in comparison to Flarewolf, say Flarewolf, right? When you run the Kaboom, Ignitor, Flarewolf team, you've got 3 units that can take advantage of Flarewolf's defense break. Whereas with Ninjini, if you miss with her 2 energy attack, so it's nice that she's got the crit rate up, it's nice that she's got the crit rate down on the boss, right? However, if you do miss with her attack, then bad things happen, right? You've got no one to follow through with or to follow up with, right? You've got no one to follow up with for her. But the team itself, it can still get you that 3-star. It can still, like, you can still farm with it, right? So, yeah, Ignite and Ninjini, a lot of people are trying to use for their auto. However, out of the teams that I'm showing you today, it was actually the least reliable for me. Out of all the runs that I did, it was actually the least reliable. Sadly. Because it was one of the first teams that I tried as well on my main account, right? Now, I did almost forget to show you guys Now this is another team here. However, what I want to show you guys, we'll get back to this. This is a team, Legendaryandyy and a lot of other people used to initially manual farm quite safely their B10. But what I wanted to show you with this particular video is just another kind of thing that can mess with you, right? So like when it comes to B10, there is a lot of RNG. All right, the boss can be very finicky. He loves to kill you. All right, he loves to kill you. Now, what I want to show you here is something pretty nasty that the boss can do. You'll see that this first attack should be an AoE beam attack, right? And then I'm going to show you what he does halfway through the fight. And this is usually this is often what happens, okay, with the team. Now you can see Chill took that hit quite nicely. That Chill's only got about 10k HP. We're not doing too well with Ignitor, right? He's not getting his crits. This was an earlier team. And then I don't think it's this attack. It might be this attack here. I'll just let it run, right? So you can see oh yeah, here we go. And you can just see, boom, crit, whole team is gone. We did miss some crits. We did miss some like potential killing blows, right? Like we can like 3-shot the boss if we crit on a defense break, if we get an Ignitor proc. Very RNG kind of fight, right? When we're relying on all those procs, there's too much randomness for my liking, right? However, this team is one of the ones that I want to show you guys, and we're going to talk about next. So let me pull up a proper one, all right? Now, I believe this run is actually kind of dicey at the end. However, the team itself is solid. Many other people have used this team to progress their initial B10. All right, now as you can see, the rotation, we are just spamming Kaboom, right? Now, I believe I'm using my main account for this, so we are using a decent Kaboom. You can see we did lose Gulper a bit early on the first wave. So the run is actually already going kind of a bit weird because usually for my particular account, Gulper wouldn't actually die before the first wave does. He would usually die on the second wave at some point. Chill would take a hit. And then I just keep spamming my bombs, right? Now, the reason we take charge here is for the rotation itself. So what we do for this particular team, right? And I had Andy explain it all to me properly so I could explain it to you guys, is when we're on the waves, what we do is we summon out Gulper, we spam Kaboom Bomb, and you can obviously follow up with, say, like maybe an Ignitor hit or something, get those hits out. Once we get to the boss, we immediately use Chill's aggro. We don't use Gulper's focus aggro. We start charging immediately with Kaboom, and then of course we use Ignitor's skill 2 into his skill 1, as well as Kaboom's charge. Now it's not shown here very well, but usually if you immediately open up with a charge ability, by the time it's ready to be used, those two towers, see how they're double queued into the boss attack, and then the boss is going to attack, right? Those two towers, you can usually, if you use the charge immediately afterwards, the two towers will take a turn, and then Kaboom is going to take a turn immediately after those towers. He'll cut in before the boss, and then you will strip those two abilities, the buffs that the towers give the boss immediately after they've been cast on the boss, right? So the rotation can be somewhat tricky to get used to initially, but it does work, right? Now you can see we're taking a lot of crits with this particular run. However, the team itself worked out nicely in the end. We did get the kill. Once again, B10 boss loves to crit your team. Lots of bad things can happen, all right? You can see there we got like a nice 6-star premium room. Now let's skip ahead to the actual quality of the units I used here. You see 10k HP on the Chill, 3000 defense. I'm just running whatever I've got, right? You can see they're not very impressive runes, not very impressive stats, all right? There's the Kaboom with the 8200 attack again. You see I've got his bomb ability is maxed. So it's nothing too impressive, right? This is just the Kaboom I have on my main account at now. They're one of my better attack rune sets that I have at the moment, but they're nothing special. And as you can see, once again, the Ignitor, he's running 106 crit rate, 224 crit damage. He's actually running a different set. I've actually got him on the wrong set of runes at the moment, which I do change out. Like I did a lot of rune swapping when I was testing teams. All right. Now let me make sure I mute that. All right. Now this is during stream. I ran the team, and oh, okay. I'm not sure why that just crashed. Give me a second. No, I would not like to send a bug report. Let's try that again. Okay. Now we have the video in here. Now it's the same thing. I hang on. Let me check that that's running. Yep. Okay. Cool. Technical difficulties, guys. Anyways, let's rush to the boss stage because it's the same rotation. I just wanted to show you guys that once we actually get to the boss. Now, Andy recommends, or usually you wouldn't open. Notice how right here I'm opening with the bomb ability. That's just a personal preference for me, whereas I like to put a bomb on the boss and then I'll attack with Ignitor right away. But what you're supposed to do is you taunt and then you immediately charge Kaboom's ability. Andy reckons he was running a crit damage Kaboom, right? Now, for a crit damage Kaboom, I would recommend slot 6 attack, but obviously you would want like crit rate on Kaboom, right? As much as you can. Like say about the same amount as Ignitor, you want like 100, 110 crit rate. And you want an attack percentage rune in slot 6 rather than a crit damage rune so that your bombs still do damage for the waves, all right? Something to take note of when you're building like a crit damage hybrid or like crit rate kind of hybrid, right? And that's because the charge ability gets a 30% increase to crit rate, which means that when it hits Ignitors, when it hits the boss after Ignitor has defense broken him, because what you're going to do is skill 2 Igniter into skill 1 Igniter, right? Either of those moves could proc, you're still going to have one more defense break left, which is where you use the charge ability, and boom, big damage. However, yeah, I just want to show you guys like the boss phase for this particular run. Don't mind some of the other stuff going on up there. As you can see, skill 2, skill 1, charge ability. And this team here, like it has a lot of potential for a 3-star. I think that this particular run here, if I had taunted off with Gulper right after Chill got crit there, this particular run on its own, I believe would have been a 3-star, I think. If we'd crit, like it had, I actually think we'd lose both Kaboom and Chill here, but the potential was there for the 3-star. It is under time limit, which is the main thing I wanted to show you guys here, right? So like we miss out on some like strong crits and procs. You can see like that Flame Blade, it hit for like 5k instead of like 10k, right? Like 10k plus, which if it was hitting as hard as it should or could, we even got a glancing there. That would have been a dead boss, right? So that's because there was no defense break on the boss. Didn't work out too well for us, right? Didn't crit there, didn't crit there. So like B10, like I said, lots of RNG, all right? Anyways, that's that one out of the way. Now, the, let's see. Oh, what's this one? Ninja Flare Kaboom. If this is what I think, yeah, okay. So I did try it with Flarewolf, Ninjini, and Kaboom as well. I had almost forgotten about this. As you can see, we open up with Kaboom bombs. We're taunting, and because both Ninjini and Flarewolf are like low mana users, we can just kind of use their attacks and still use our bombs on the waves. Helps clear the waves a bit quicker, right? Let's see. This says fail in the description, so I do believe that we wipe on the boss itself. Looks like Flarewolf. I believe that at this point I'm actually using the rotation incorrectly. Usually what you want to do with Flarewolf is use if you're not using Ignitor, right? because what you would want to do with Ignitor is use the charge ability on the defense break, right? That Ignitor provides. But at some point, you want to make sure that you attack buff Flarewolf by using his first skill, okay? For Flarewolf, you kind of always want to open up with attack buff into charge ability. That way, Flarewolf obviously hits to his maximum potential. So there you go. As you can see, that particular team didn't work out too well. Ninjini didn't hit hard enough. Her proc didn't really happen, and then defense ignore killed the boss. And Flarewolf himself, without being attack up, and it is still only a 4-star Flarewolf, I believe. This was the ult account, so this was the 4-star Unawakened Flarewolf. But you can see the potential for like even that team there, right? If you have a proper built Ninjini, a proper built Flarewolf, solid team, right? Now, okay, I am going to show you guys this because this is a bit of fun for myself. Okay, Kaboom, Boomer, Ignitor, manual team. A lot of people telling me, right? I didn't, skilling up Troll Smash, not a good idea. Boomer falls off. Troll Smash falls off, right? Boomer, Wellington unit, right? Boomer, B10 unit. Interesting, right? For manual at least. Have a look at just how easy and smooth the waves are, right? This is actually a really bad run because what happened was the boss opened up with Piercing Slash on us before he got the taunt from Gulper. Usually the boss is going to actually just like attack buff everyone or whatever. Like he'll use his buff ability. So him opening with a Piercing Slash was just him trying to be all like, not today, right? But as you can see, this is a crit damage Boomer, right? Now Boomer is going to take a hit from the boss and die, but even this team here has the potential. If Gulper was still alive, you would taunt with Gulper, and then the amount of time that it takes to kill the boss, if you get some nice RNG, as you can see, we open up with Ignitor's defense break into his skill 1, and then Kaboom using Kaboom's charge. Boss is already at half HP, right? So let's say the boss doesn't crit Gulper. Let's say Gulper's up, you aggro with Gulper, boss doesn't crit Gulper, right? Gulper survives for another hit. Boomer is still alive, and by the time you get past, oh, that was dangerous. You see how often this boss is critting though, for this particular run. And then yeah, by the time the boss gets around to his third attack, not including say if he AoEs us, boss is dead. You get your 3-star in 2 minutes, right? So if you were one of those people that skilled up Kaboom Boomer, this is once again a 6-star no skilled Ignitor on about 4k attack, 100 something crit rate, and probably about 240 crit damage still. I don't believe the runes were changed too much. We are about to see them. And there you go. So the Boomer himself is actually on a crit rate slot 2 at the moment, right? So he's not even on his original runes, where he usually would have 85 crit rate. He's got 106, right? As you can see, same Kaboom runes, sorry. Same stats, and then there's the Ignitor once again, 244 crit damage, 115 crit rate, and here's his runes here, 4800 attack, right? So once again, yet another team that we can have fun with. Okay, just another example, like that team there, reliable manual. It was probably like the second most reliable manual team that I tried, surprisingly, and I believe that that's because of how smooth the wave clear was. So once you actually get to the boss, it's just a matter of cycling Ignitor Kaboom, right? And then Boom is usually going to take a hit, Gulper's going to take hits, and by the time they're done taking hits, Kaboom and Ignitor have already killed the boss, right? Now, ways that you can improve, right? Like the team, like to continue into say semi-auto and full auto. I'm going to talk about the 3-star team here, right? So we're going to go back to the Ignitor Flarewolf team, the one I'm recommending right now. Nightmare is a very strong unit for this. You know, a lot of people use Spitfire for stuff. I'm not a big fan of the Spitfire meta. I think for the Igniter Flarewolf combo, you'd probably want to run either Pit Boss or Nightmare. I believe that those two would be the most reliable to push the team into semi-auto and full auto, rather than Spitfire, who he's not going to be that helpful on the waves, other than the fact that he's going to provide that initial passive attack up. He can hit kind of hard once he's properly built, but we're talking entry level here. Not super helpful as an entry level, in my opinion. I believe like Pit Boss being there to take some hits, provides attack up, provides attack down on the waves. Once you get to the boss, same thing, provides attack up, provides attack down. He also kind of strips. And then, of course, Nightmare is going to pretty much guarantee your wave clear. And then once you get to the boss, Nightmare is probably dead. Like, you don't need a live Nightmare. Usually what would happen is you have Nightmare there, Nightmare takes a hit, dies, and then Igniter and Flare will finish the run, right? Simple. Gulper, obviously at the boss, would taunt the boss off of Flare Wolf and Igniter, and then Igniter and Flare Wolf would proceed to kill the boss, alright? Definitely, probably the most reliable way to turn this team into a full auto. And yeah, I believe that this, out of all the testing I did, is probably the most reliable way to begin your journey into B10 as a entry level into full auto territory. Okay. Now, in terms of like what I have done with my main account, I'm gonna leave you guys with a little present. If you guys want to try it, that's up to you. And I'm gonna share this team with you guys. Washbuckler, Whirlwind, Kaboom. Now this is a semi-auto team. Now you can see that I've 3-starred it. These runes haven't been changed, by the way. These are very basic. I've had these units for quite a while. I believe the Whirlwind has had the runes on her for about a month now. As you can see, we're on ×3 speed, and I'm making sure to cycle Kaboom's bomb ability as best I can, as well as Whirlwind's charge ability, so that we have some kind of sustain. Gulper, we always want Gulper taunting. So you need to babysit this team. If you don't babysit this team, it will die, it will wipe, right? Now when we actually get to the boss, okay? Now this is a long team, all right? This is a long but safe team. When we actually get to the boss, instead of cycling Kaboom's bomb ability, what you're going to want to do is make sure that you are basically, you're just going to cycle between Washbuckler's blind ability, his 5 mana cost skill, or 6 mana cost in a lot of people's cases. You can see that I have my skill maxed out now, and that's because I use Washbuckler in many places: Invasion, Chaos, Scenario, Hard Scenario. And then you're going to cycle between his 5 mana cost or 6 mana cost ability, right? Whichever it is, his blind ability, and Whirlwind's charge ability, and just make sure that they are always trying to take turns. All right, you can see how I'm just kind of jumping between the two, and then everything else is going to be done on auto. You don't need to like stress too much. Just make sure that you are specifically making sure that these two skills are getting queued up, and as you can see, the boss is slowly getting whittled down. Now, ways to speed this team up. My Washbuckler is actually on some like tanky runes at the moment, more than anything else. Now the Whirlwind is on attack runes, so we can see that the Whirlwind is surviving quite safely, unless she takes like a direct, really strong crit from the boss when he's not blinded. It's pretty safe, right? For the Whirlwind, that is. You see we even knocked the boss down. We're taking that many hits and we're not dying. All right, like that's how safe this team is. As long as the blind is on the boss and the charge from Whirlwind is happening, you're usually pretty safe. Now I have tested this team with Flarewolf as well. I believe a properly built Flarewolf would end this very quickly, right? within like 20 turns of the boss or 20 hits on the boss, right? Or I probably built Flarewolf would probably end this before the first revenge. Okay, only you would have the Washbuckler there for the blind. Now this is just a team that I threw together to give like a little test out for a bit of fun. It works very well, and I am going to continue experimenting with it. And I will follow up in another video for like auto teams for B10 and auto teams for Wailing 10, of course. And yeah, so we're about to see the runes. As you can see, it's the same Kaboom. Okay, same Kaboom runes. You know, very simple. Strike, focus. Nothing special. Just runes that I had that were attack based. Whirlwind's runes. You can see I have skill 3 skilled up. Like I have like 2 skills into it. These were just leftover hope runes that I had that had like attack percentage, okay? Or whatever, you know, like that resist rune, some hope runes. These are leftover runes. You can see I have the skill maxed. Once again, they're just hope runes. There's a 5-star rune, plus 12, 6-star rune, 5-star rune. Yeah, as you can see, effect accuracy is very important. We've got 142, that's for the blind. Wash only has 8k HP. And yeah, that's the team I actually currently run right now. Once this video is over, I will continue experimenting with like 4 auto teams. I'll start actually improving my rune quality. We're probably going to see some videos soon about, I'm going to get that chaos video out for you guys for like the full auto chaos, right? Like it's mostly for auto. Like you might need a babysit if you ever get to like your second team a little bit, but either way, like it's very like it's very casual. It's less stressful. You know, you don't need a manual. You don't need to be all like, yes, time things, everything perfectly. Nice team, okay? And as well as boss stages are something I'll start working on getting out for you guys as well. All right. Anyways, I think I've covered everything that I should cover. If you think I've missed anything in particular, ask a question down below, and you know, I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. Now, let's see. Yep, I think I've gone through all the videos. All right, cool. This video is probably long enough. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Don't forget there is a patch coming soon. There will be a video about the changes for like the newbies, right? The newbie changes to the new system. I'll be doing a video up on that soon as well. All right, whenever the patch drops, don't you worry about it. I will figure out how to work our way back into this progression from a fresh account. That way we don't need to make a whole new account again. Haha, yes. Anyways, hope this video has been helpful. Catch you guys on the next one. And ciao.